Fox News hosts were talking about the idea of mandatory 20% gratuity for restaurants. So a new law that would mandate a 20% tip when you go to restaurants. And so their takes on this were exactly as loathsome as you'd expect them to be.
The thing that really tips me off is the iPad thing that they hold up in your face after they give you coffee and say, like, do you want to tip me 10, 15, or 20%? And just like
right
putting,
in front of them.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I think
I'm not
that's
afraid
rude.
to go zero.
Zero.
Right in their face.
Of
course, Jesse.
course.
Well, I mean, all you're doing is handing me coffee. Then
I
you
know.
get a tip for that.
It's like, and you're supposed to sign thing. Oh, how much do you want to tip me? And they're looking over your shoulder. I think that's obnoxious.
It's too aggressive.
Actually, I think that's obnoxious. But I think most people.
These are millionaires. These are very, very wealthy people. And again, the law they're discussing is 20% gratuity for restaurants. So they're talking about waiter, waitress bringing you, in this case, they're saying coffee. They bring you some coffee, maybe you're at a table, and they hold out the thing. Oh, how much do you want to tip? And they don't tip. Man, I actually think that the tipping thing says a lot about a person. It does. Now, maybe you're in a position where you're not doing well financially and you can't afford to do it. That's one thing, okay? But if you can afford to do it and you don't tip well, man, that's wrong. I got news for you, man. These people, they don't want to be doing that. They don't want to be serving your ass anything. They don't. They feel like they have to do it. They're in a weird position in their lives. This is what they're doing. They're waiting tables, and, you know, it's tough. It's a tough business to be in. It's a tough way to spend your time. And the least we could do is let them know that we thank them for it by helping them financially. I always try to tip as good as possible. And when people don't do it, that upsets me. Now, I will say this. We shouldn't have to rely on people's kindness when it comes to tipping. So in other words, I don't even like this idea of the mandatory 20% tip law, but I like the idea of mandating a living wage. You should mandate a living wage, for sure. I get it. Like, some industries work on commission, some industries work on tips. They shouldn't. It should be, you should have a bare minimum living wage for every profession. There should be no exceptions to that. Now, I get it. If they want to set up a system that's a commission-based system or a tips-based system, after they hit that minimum living wage standard, that's fine. But they need to hit that minimum living wage standard, and we simply don't have that. We have a lot of exceptions to even our minimum wage, which already isn't a living wage. We have exceptions to that. So my idea is I want everybody to have a living wage and no exceptions, but we don't have that now, so you have to deal with the system that we have in front of us. The system that we have in front of us, a lot of people their labor is drastically undervalued in the field that they're in, and 20% gratuity law is what they're discussing, and they say I don't tip in a lot of these circumstances. I mean, I can't say enough negative stuff about this because it says the kind of people they are. They don't value people who do those kinds of jobs. They don't value them. Even though, these are things that those people don't want to be there, but they're also doing something that's kind of important. Like, society needs to function. Society needs to flow. And so there's a lot of jobs that people don't really look upon favorably, but they're being done by people who are sacrificing time and, trying to make a living doing it. And they just don't appreciate it. This shows you the fraud that is the far right pretending to be pro-worker. Because when it all comes down to it, these are corporate elites on Fox News. That's what they are. And even though Trump does this fake, pro the little guy, for the working man tap dance, it's nonsense. It's not true, which is why his tax bill overwhelmingly benefited the top 1% in corporations. If you make $75,000 a year or less, your taxes will go up under Trump's bill over a decade. So it's not true. They're not actually for working people. And every now and then you get these little cracks and they show their true colors. And that's exactly what Jesse Waters is doing here. He's showing his true colors. And his true colors are, I don't really value working people. I don't really value anybody in the service sector. He's a multi-millionaire Fox News goon who gets paid to go on TV and say stuff like Trump is awesome and immigrants are bad and, war is good. Like, he gets paid millions of dollars to give his opinions, and his opinions happen to all suck. But he gets paid millions of dollars, and he looks at people who are really working hard for a living with disdain, and he doesn't even give them a bare minimum tip. It's really pathetic, but it does show you his true colors. It does show you what these people are actually like and what they actually believe. So next time they pretend to care about working people, remember this clip.